On today's episode of Club 904, we are coming out of the Jaguars bye week with a bang. DraftKings Emerson Lotzia is going to join us. Lifelong Jaguars fan, never had him on a podcast before. Who knows what could happen live when two former news hounds get together for a Jacksonville Jaguars-centric podcast. Plus, we run through my 3 takeaways from the Jaguars bye week, especially after hosting on ESPN Radio and seeing all of the games in action this weekend. Maybe it's time to take a deep breath. Maybe it's time to trade Brian Thomas Jr. Oh, let's have some fun today, folks, because Club 904 is going up on a Tuesday. It is indeed a Tuesday in Club 904. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I am your host, Mia O'Brien. We are live and streaming on X as well as the various channels of the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. So whether you're watching us on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, wherever it may be, please like, subscribe, say hello to our friends at Action Sports Jacks. They have you covered literally 24/7. Of course, Brent and Austin from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We've got Fleet and Footy coming after us on Thursdays. And then today at 2 p.m., Talon Talks returns, a UNF-focused show. They pay some bills for me, too. So want to shout out the Ospreys. Basketball season less than a week away, as is the Jaguars' Week 9 matchup with the Las Vegas Raiders. Hope everyone enjoyed the bye week, a Jaguars-free week. We are coming at you live from the home studio today. If you're not hanging out with us on video live, of course, you can go back. You can listen to the show on demand on YouTube, at the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 channel, as well as wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to begin today's show with my 3 takeaways from the bye week. I hosted twice over the weekend on ESPN Radio, and so really got to see a lot of teams up close and personal that I really hadn't in covering the Jags each and every Sunday, and I think that that's given some perspective. I also think there are some takeaways with what Liam Cohen and his staff have said they evaluated over the first 7 weeks of their season, as well as tendencies they saw from watching the Sunday slate and the Week 8 slate from across the league as well. So we're going to start with those 3 takeaways. We will take a quick timeout. Emerson Lotzia is going to join us on the other side. He tells me that he's going to bring the heat. So I hope you guys bring the heat. Make sure you leave comments, questions. If you have a hot take, I'm sure we're going to discuss the Athletics report that Brian Thomas Jr. on the trade block, not on the trade block. The Jaguars are taking calls. Are they actually picking up the phone? Is there actually interest? We're going to dive into all that and more. And then, of course, we'll wrap up with some live Q&A as we do each and every Club 904 episode. So I want to see lots of questions. Want to see lots of comments. Our friend Daniel Griffiths, by the way, isn't joining us today because he is visiting family out in Arizona, but he left me a whole heck of a lot of notes and stats, and he's got some great stuff up at actionnewsjacks.com. And we're going to tie that into my 3 takeaways from the bye week. Takeaway number 1. The Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks, they're pretty good operations, folks. They're pretty good football teams. And while you don't want to hear that as an excuse, you don't want to hear that as solace for 2 losses that while one was by 1 score, the other was an absolute butt whooping at the hands of the Rams in your home away from home at Wembley Stadium in London. Ultimately, the National Football League saw one possession game this past weekend. And that's not to say that some of the teams that played this past weekend aren't also great teams. But the reality is that those 2 teams, in my estimation, are among the top 5 upper echelon of the NFC. And nationally, so many have commented that this year, the NFC has finally usurped the AFC, maybe not in terms of quarterback talent, but in terms of parity and talent overall. So statistical evidence to back up why the Rams and Seahawks losses, yes, certainly stung. And that was something that I heard from multiple Jaguars players yesterday in their Monday availability in the locker room. This idea of you had to let that ish sting. You had to realize you got your butt handed to you 35-7. In the same vein, that has to motivate you to go back and make corrections. But it's okay sometimes to say, and I think James Coleman has said this on this very program, you got your ass beat. And that's okay. Sometimes it happens. Austin Lane's definitely said it as well. So, great stat from Dan Griffiths this morning. Teams are running stunts defensively against the Jaguars' offensive line 24.7% of the time. That is number 2 in the National Football League. Now, maybe that stat's not that surprising when you consider that LA and Seattle are both top 5 in stunt percentage. But here's the thing, folks. Let me pull up for you. Just a little sampling, a little dramatic reading, if you may. Yes, we all know about Max Crosby, and we all know what he can do. We've also heard maybe Jerry Jones was trying to trade for him. I don't actually believe that. But besides Max Crosby, Jonah Laulu, Adam Butler, Malcolm Kuntz is a good edge rusher. Tyree Wilson, when healthy, is a decent edge rusher, former first-round pick. Thomas Booker the fourth, I think that's what that's. Lee Laiku Fotu and Charles Snowden. Tonka Hemingway, pretty good defensive tackle at South Carolina back in the day. JJ Pegues, if you remember him from Ole Miss. Also a fun little utility player because he plays defensive line. You can also bring him in as a fullback on offensive plays. Point is, do any of those names, besides Max Crosby, scare you in the stunt game? It takes 2 to tango when it comes to stunts. That, of course, is when an interior defensive lineman shifts to the outside and the edge comes to the inside. You previously have heard Austin Lane in the 1-2 step film breakdown exactly what that looks like, especially with a combination like Josh Hines-Allen and DeJuan Smoot that have been doing it together for so long. I don't see any dance partners for Max Crosby. Malcolm Kuntz is lining up from him on the other side. So I don't really know. Jonah Laulu or Adam Butler, Thomas Booker, maybe one of those 2 young guys. I don't really envision any of those combinations having that sort of success that the likes of Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, or any combination of Byron Murphy and insert edge rusher here for the Seattle Seahawks had against the Jaguars. And so because of that, I'm optimistic in terms of the Jaguars offensive line that took a step back comparatively to the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, each of the last 2 weeks. Takeaway number 2 from the bye week. The Jaguars held both Seattle and Los Angeles combined to 3 of 22 on third down. The offense did not turn the ball over, and they still lost both games. Well, yes, they also didn't record a takeaway, and certainly that's a factor into some of the Jaguars' early success. The reality is that, that careless disregard for the football that we heard about for so long, that hasn't been an issue. In terms of stopping teams on third down, they're doing that. The problem is they're giving up explosives on first or second down, the Jaguars defense, that is. And so much like we're going to get to staying ahead of the sticks offensively, if the Jaguars defense can simply limit the explosive plays and avoid giving them up on first or second down, they're getting it done on third down. That's been a sticking point for this group, this core group of defensive players for the last 5-6 years that I've been here. And so the fact that they are actually doing that, and you can talk about garbage time all you want in the LA game, but it was a 1-possession loss against Seattle, even if it didn't feel like it to many, because the Jaguars have been riding high since a game they lost to Cincinnati week 2, in which they didn't trail until the final 18 seconds of the ball game. So if the Jaguars defense can continue to stop teams on third down, if they can avoid giving up explosives on first and second down, let's pull up that Raiders depth chart once more. We all know Jacoby Myers on the trade block. We all know Ashton Genty, the number 6 overall pick. Brock Bowers, potentially coming back this upcoming weekend. That's of note. Trey Tucker, Jack Betch, great second round pick. I don't really know why it's not working out right now. Tyler Lockett has resurfaced, in case you missed it, in Las Vegas. So maybe it's him, Dante Thornton Jr., the 4th round pick, who had already supplanted Betch in the opening depth chart to start the season. Not exactly an explosive play machine, despite Chip Kelly being the offensive play caller for the Las Vegas Raiders. And so in terms of stopping the explosives, it's easier said than done. But the fact that the Jaguars are stopping defenses on third down, they're not turning the ball over, that bodes well going up against a Raiders team that is not necessarily the biggest in terms of explosive plays and in terms of turning the ball over themselves defensively. Final takeaway from the bye week. You got to get more pressure. Another one that's easier said than done. For everyone, including those in my own household, which we're coming at you live from the home studio today. Again, leave a comment, leave a chat if you're joining us live. Appreciate you guys hopping in with us. Josh Hines-Allen has created 32.1% of all of the Jaguars' pressures this year. Nearly a third of their pressures created by one player. And Trayvon Walker has been limited the last 2 weeks, missed the Monday night game against the Kansas City Chiefs with that wrist injury, which he has gotten. He's now moved up in the world, so he has shed the hard cast. He will not have to wear the club hand against the Raiders. At practice yesterday, he had a soft cast on. He will have the ability to grip with his fingers again. That's obviously a positive development for the Jaguars pass rush, because whether Trayvon Walker is getting home or not, he is forcing teams to account for him, which should free up other pass rushers. Devin Lloyd, calf injury. Heard from a couple folks in the building yesterday. We all know what happened to Tyrese Halliburton when he was playing with the calf strain. We know what happened to Kevin Durant 6 years ago in the NBA playoffs when he was playing through a calf strain. Popped the Achilles. He had last week. He did not make the trip to London. By the way, again, Devin Lloyd, the 3 games he's missed in his career, all London games. It's kind of a funny bit, but I digress. I don't know if you rush Devin Lloyd back. If you still have questions, and again, I haven't spoken with anyone who specifically, anyone who specifically is dealing with making the decision in terms of Devin's health. But this is an overall picture in terms of that injury. How slow do you play it, especially going up against a Raiders offensive line that has been suspect this year? If you believe that if on paper you can outmatch them without Devin Lloyd, with Trayvon Walker back at full strength, then I would sit Devin Lloyd. I would, even though Josh Hines-Allen has accounted for a third of the pressures and the Jaguars need some type of help in the pass rush department. Let's get to a couple of your questions before we get on out of here. We've got John, who is listening to us on Twitter right now. When you talk about trades in the middle of the year, you're not going to get teams' best players. We're talking about guys that have not shown their team productivity to warrant them staying. I wouldn't agree with that, John, because I think that they're a lot, to your point, it's not about the productivity. It's about the contract. I would say that Marcel Darius, when he was traded to Jacksonville in 2017, maybe wasn't playing at an all-pro level with Buffalo, but he certainly was productive. But for the Jaguars, it was this reality of, oh, he will have even more success in our system compared to Buffalo's. Some other midseason acquisitions, Ezra Cleveland. Yes, the Vikings weren't getting a lot out of him 2 years ago because he was hurt. And so they turned around and they flipped him because they felt that Dalton Reisner, who, by the way, is also no longer in the Minnesota organization, could be a more suitable replacement with both players in a contract year. Ezra comes here. All of a sudden, once healthy, he's playing pretty darn good. And we're going to get to some of his numbers from the last 2 weeks of the season and through the first 6 weeks of the 2025 calendar and evaluate where the Jaguars are along that offensive line. But first, we have to take our first time out on this Tuesday edition of Club 904. Keep those comments, those questions coming. I promise I'm going to get to more of them coming up, and we will be joined and bringing the heat with Emerson Lotzia on the other side here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 channel.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as JaxPal. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
It's been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jack's Pal.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
Sun's out, suits out. That's right, it's summertime in Florida, which means it's time to say goodbye to bulking season and hello to shredding season. But if you're like me, you're having a hard time sculpting and shaping those final pounds. That is until I came and saw my friends over at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Right now, everyone is hopping on the Evolve X train, and the only destination is finding your perfect summer body. The technology uses electrical muscle stimulation and radio frequency energy to cause your muscles to contract, all while heating up those deep layers of your skin and tissue to produce collagen and reduce fat. It's like doing 1,000 sit-ups in 30 minutes. No pain, no needles, just results, right? That's right. So leave those winter layers back at the station and come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Welcome back into a Tuesday edition of Club 904. Mia O'Brien, excited to welcome our next guest into the club here in just a second. But first, as always, if you haven't already, like, subscribe to our friends at Action Sports Jacks. They do great work. There's great shows to be had. Talent Talks, if you're a fan of the UNF Ospreys, coming up after us at 2 o'clock on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 channel, which means, oh boy, we got a little bit of time. We know this guy has time. Very excited for the first time. Hold on. Let's get that situated. No.
Oh, God.
We need that. There
Yeah.
we go. It's time. It's time. The first ever podcast I've done with Emerson Lotzia. The first time, too, as I described off the top, 2 local news hounds once upon a time, talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. What more could you ask for on a Tuesday? Emerson, I appreciate you answering the bat signal. Although something tells me you have some Jacksonville Jaguars takes you got to get off your heart, your soul. And so welcome into Club 904. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
God, it feels so good. It feels so good to be here, Mia. And yeah, we are some former local news hounds. I do not miss those days at all. In fact, I thought about jumping off a bridge multiple times during my time in local news. Now I feel that way after my Travis Hunter anytime touchdown bet continues to not hit. I bet it from week 1 every week, put $20 on it. Okay. And I finally said, London, we're good in London. I believe that's where Trevor got his first win, and good things happen in London. And then you know what happened in London? Not good things. Not good things.
But Travis Hunter scored a touchdown.
Except he finally did it. I think I won like $60, so I'm down I'm still down a lot because of it.
well, the good news is that you're with DraftKings. So we're actually going to do a little bit of, maybe some friendly wagering, some betting advice, perhaps for the Jaguars, not just for this upcoming game, but maybe down the road. But selfishly, Emerson, since this is the first time that we've done a pod together, and for those who are on Jags Twitter, but maybe not on Jags Twitter, first and foremost, let me get your one shot situated. Stand by. The beauty of live.
Okay. What's going on? Is it probably my fault? A lot of things are usually my fault.
No, it's not at all. It's live television, although it's on YouTube, but you know how this thing goes. Emerson, for those who may be unfamiliar, give us as much of your life story that can fit in the next 3-4 minutes in terms of an explanation so we can get back to the Jags, but also how did you come to be a Jags fan?
Yeah, I'm an emotionally unstable Jags fan. Anyone who may be unlucky enough to follow me on Twitter sees that my tweets tend to be pretty emotional at times, maybe a tad bit extreme. Let's just put it this way. My wife now refuses to watch Jaguars games with me. Of course, she's spoiled now. She's a Bills fan. She's back in the bathroom right now, just sitting there working because she didn't want to be seen on video, which, I don't blame her. But anywho, I was born and raised in Jacksonville. I'm an Assumption Knight. And then I went over to Bishop Kenny. And so, I've been a Jags fan since day one. I have ridden this emotional roller coaster, mainly lows, for close to or now 3 decades. So I feel the pain of Duval, baby. I really do. And living up here in Boston now for 12 years, I walk around town and I'm wearing my Jags gear. And the number one reaction I get is, oh man, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry too. I don't know why I continue to do this to myself. Maybe because I love pain. Maybe because, I still think about those early years in the 90s, which thank God the throwbacks have returned. But my God, I hate myself a lot. I really do when I'm watching.
You're an alma mater with Bishop Kenny alum John Wolford. How can you hate yourself? Come on now.
Yeah. I know. A Jags legend.
A Tampa Bay Buccaneers, an LA Rams, a Sean McVay tree legend, which is probably the best segue, Emerson, that I could possibly give to all your pain and the world is awful notes there. So
listen, I'm just being real, okay?
And that's what we do here in Club 904. We keep it real.
You know what's crazy is my weekly therapy appointments.
Yeah.
The Jags come up quite a bit. And my therapist is like, listen, we need to stop talking about it. It's either this or the 3 putts I have over my weekend rounds of golf. So shout out to my therapist, Dr. McKeon. She probably knows way too much of the Jaguars than she actually wishes.
So does my therapist, Tracy. So I'm glad we're all in the same boat. I'm like, this poor woman doesn't need to hear about the Jags and the woes of working in media, but hey, it's all right.
But mine needs to realize why my week is starting off like hell again. And especially I was like, Dr. McKeon, did you happen to see how the Jags looked in London? She's like, I really just don't want to do this. We need to dive into deeper issues. I said, this is the source of why I'm so effed up, Dr. McKeon.
This is the first time I think we've openly discussed therapy on Club 904, and I'm here for it. If you guys have comments,
me too,
questions of Emerson, leave a comment, folks. Let's have some fun. But to that point, we brought up Sean McVay, John Wolford. Big picture, the Liam Cohen era. We'll subtract the first 2 weeks. We're going to go big picture here, Emerson. As a lifelong Jaguars fan, as a native of Jacksonville, who also, working for DraftKings, sees all the action across the National Football League. What do you make so far of this new triumvirate at the top of the Jaguars organization?
I mean, he's the man. He's awesome. I've never enjoyed more post-game locker room speeches than I have, which by the way, shout out to the Jags social team, which has been elite for years. They're finally getting more attention, but the access also the Jaguars are giving not only our fans, but fans around the world to kind of see what happens in that locker room and to see the message that Liam Cohen delivers to his team every week. I've almost been more impressed with his approach to his locker room speeches after the losses. And then we saw that video that really started picking up steam like last week. I think they were in the film room. It was about like 11 minutes long. And yeah, I sat there and I gave that piece of 11-minute video every second of my life. And I felt like a better person after watching that. I would run through a brick wall for Liam Cohen. I would do just about anything for Liam Cohen. And he does feel like he is the guy. I mean, he had the team at like 4-1 here, Mia. Like it has everything to do with that environment, like behind the scenes. It's not toxic anymore. He's a guy dudes want to play for. Let me tell you what, guys around the league, they see that kind of shit. They see the way that he treats players. They see that, at least for us, he's not using the media to call players out like we've seen with some guys in the past. Like Liam takes the high road. Now, I'm sure like behind the scenes, like, he's digging into them a little bit because that's what you got to do as a coach. But hell, I know we can all be a little emotional sometimes, but if you told me the Jaguars were going to be 4-3 through 7 weeks and coming out of the bye, like, okay, I think at that time I would have signed up for it. Now, I think he also, and to his credit, he takes blame. He deserves some of the blame for some of these like mistakes that have been happening. Like that Seahawks game, the guys looked uninspired at times and unprepared. And when you're leading the league in penalties per game, it has to start there. It has to start with the coaching. I mean, it's like football 1-on-1. Like, don't go in motion when you're not supposed to, or start making forward momentum towards the line. Like, I don't know. I like what we see so far, and I truly do think the future is bright with Liam Cohen at the helm and our boy Jimmy G in the front office.
Hey, there we go. We got some Jimmy G love here in Club 904. But to your point, Emerson, to just summarize, in terms of motivator of men, you're here for Liam Cohen. In terms of the penalties, the buck has to stop with the head coach. I mean, he has said that, they got to clean it up. They got to clean this ish up. We hear that all the time. But I don't know how you do it. And so that's where I ask you, what changes, if anything, need to be made? Do you need more tough love, or because you want to keep Liam Cohen the same guy, because that's what matters, at least in my 7+ years in this locker room, that's what matters to these players, someone not turning into a different person after the bye week. So how do you clean up that mess? Because I agree with you, and the stats do too. If the Jaguars could quite simply clean up the penalties and stay ahead of the sticks on first and second down, this is a completely different, they may be a 5-2 operation, because they did only lose to the Seahawks, despite looking uninspired, by one possession. So
I know.
And
I don't
know how else to fix it.
And the damn defense kept giving the offense more opportunities to win that freaking football game. And like, listen, the defense has some issues. That internal defensive line has basically been non-existent. I think the Jags are last in the league and sacks. Correct me if I'm
actually
wrong.
The Niners are right below them, which I don't think I ever would have said last April, but here we are. So we're 31st, everyone. Not
hell yeah, not last. Listen, in terms, now some of it also falls on the players. Like, go out there and stop committing stupid penalties. These aren't just like pass interference penalties and crap like that can be debated, and you could break it down all day long. These are like you're shooting yourself in the foot, like with the legal formation. I'm like, was it the Rams game? How many penalties did they have in the Rams game? Maybe it was the Seahawks game. Dude,
they were double-digit in both.
Unbelievable. I wanted to stab myself in the face watching that. That was awful. And so, yeah, I think Liam continues taking this approach, at least in front of the camera. Because, listen, big picture, like these guys, players need to be babied to a certain point. And I think you do that when you're speaking about them to the public. They don't want to see that their head coach is talking crap to them, on the local news, like around Jacksonville, or clips that are aired on NFL Live, which don't even get me started with those people. They don't believe in Jacksonville at all. They don't. Screw them. But I think behind the scenes, he has to be cracking the whip a little more. I've got a good buddy who's a reporter here, who's very close friends with Liam. He was down there, works for The Athletic. So Jeff Howe. I don't know if you've heard of Jeff Howe.
Yes,
great national reporter. They're both UMass guys. So Jeff went down there, I believe, last week I don't know if this story is hit yet, but writing up a nice in-depth article about the work Liam's done. And he texted me and he's like, listen, Liam is the man, and players want to play for him. Players want to put their bodies on the line every freaking Sunday or Thursday or Monday for this dude. And I think I think that's one thing that they have been hammering home is stop shooting yourself in the foot. If another team's going to beat you, let it be the other team. Don't be your own worst enemy, which has been really the big story here. And he's a first-year head coach, Mia. Like there's a learning curve there too, and he could surround himself with other veteran coaches, although a lot of them are still like young as well. But like there's going to be growing pains, like throughout.
And there was always going to be, like to your point,
there was always, yeah.
And that's what we led the show. I led the show today off with that. The Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams, actually, when the season is over, and this is not to make excuses or to take solace in this. Love the mug, by the way. Ultimately, they may end up.
My buddy got this for me at a thrift store 2 years ago. He's like, I saw this, and I was like, yeah. Anytime there's Jags gear around Boston, the amount of people who like scoop it up and drop it off on my stoop or like mail it to me, it's kind of insane. The amount of strangers who have my address.
You are the guy in Boston.
I'm just kidding, honey. I'm just kidding.
If you find Jags things, just leave it on Emerson Lotzia's stoop. But the Rams and the Seahawks may actually be top 10 teams when all is said and done, both offensively and defensively. And that's where, again, I don't want to say that it's an excuse, but to that point, Liam Cohen is a first-year head coach. Anthony Campanelli is a first-year defensive coordinator. And we are living in a world in which they started the season 4-1. And that, well, yes, there are warts to this offense. If you subtracted those penalties, many of which there's nothing the coach can do if it's the player in the moment making a mistake outside of saying, we got to coach him up and love on him in the public eye, you have to give them credit for that. Now, with that said, we're going to get to the Raiders game. If you lay an egg in Las Vegas, now we're having a different story. You mentioned first-year head coaches. Given that you are in Boston, I'm curious. You have a front row seat to Mike Vrabel.
Yeah,
the rebirth of the New England Patriots. Certainly Drake May is, in my opinion, right now, part of it is Jaden Daniels' injury. Part of it is the reality that I thought during the draft process, Drake May be the best quarterback in that class.
Dude,
but I'm curious.
He's awesome.
He's amazing. And he's also an amazing person. I told the story.
I was talking about that when I dropped my dogs off at the dog groomer.
Oh yeah, the dogs aren't here for the pod today.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Usually the dogs are wrestling on the couch behind me, people. I'm sorry to disappoint all of you. But you know what I love about my dog groomer, Jill? She is the most hardcore Boston sports fan. So what do I do every 8 weeks when I drop my dog off at the groomer? Sit there and I talk Boston sports with her, mainly Patriots. Okay. This woman may have needed to change her pants after talking about Stephon Diggs and Drake May this morning. Like she was feeling feelings, and a lot of it surrounded Mike Vrabel and the job he is doing in year one. This isn't his first head coaching job.
Right. That's the difference.
Huge difference.
But in terms of style, tell us this, Emerson, like Vrabel's style and Liam Cohen's style are different. But for those of us who cover the league and know those two guys, it actually might be kind of similar.
Yeah, they are. And like Vrabel's another guy who's not crapping on his dudes in front of the media. Like when the media asks him a more direct question about maybe some struggles, especially with like the run game right now. The run game for them has just not been great, but you've almost haven't needed to lean on it a whole lot with Drake May. Drake May, who I forget who it was, probably someone at the mothership again, who I think compared him to Tom Brady in terms of he's Tom Brady, but with legs, can use his feet to cause some damage. Although if you ask Tom Brady's mom, Tom Brady was the fastest guy in the NFL during his 2-decade tenure. Anywho, Drake May is what I kind of wish like Trevor was more to a certain extent here in year 5, although we saw like what Trevor did in year 2, especially the second half of year 2. Oh my God, that was one of the best nights of my life watching that Chargers game. Anywho, but yeah, Mike Vrabel, dude will have some fun with the media, kind of no bullshit type coach,
Which Liam is doing just a little bit softer, where Vrabel's a little prickly. But I've heard enough anecdotes from people in Nashville where like Vrabel, not the Titans, if they lost a loved one, like Vrabel and his wife sent flowers to the funeral.
Yeah.
Like that, those vibes. Like that's who he is. He's that type of dude.
But they're both guys who I've noticed, especially like along the sideline, except maybe that like one time where like Trevor was kind of like waving off Liam Cohen. Although I'm just like, I didn't understand why people got so pissed about that. I'm like, it's football. Like, listen, trust me, I played high school football. Okay. Emotions run high at times. And there are probably moments you wish you could have back or maybe handled yourself better. Again, it goes back to therapy and working on controlling my emotions a little better. But
we do have a social worker in the chat, by the way, who is here to help if you need.
Okay. All right, great. This is good.
Thank you to David in the chat.
Okay, thanks, big man, because I don't see Dr. McCann again until Friday. And so this is a long gap, and I'm really worried about myself right now between the ears. But anywho, Vrabel, one of those guys, you see him like fire dudes up on the sideline. Like this weekend, like when Stephon Diggs, like he and Vrabel were kind of going back and forth. And it's like, you could see every guy on that sideline. It's like, I would die for you, Coach Vrabel. And I truly feel like maybe guys on the Jags sideline won't necessarily die for Liam Cohen right now, but they're getting very close. They definitely want to play for him and definitely want to put their bodies on the line every freaking weekend. That's for sure.
And that's what you want. That's what's been.
Yeah, they command like respect, and I don't know. They talk to you like a human, in a way, which a lot of these guys like appreciate. Like, and more, a lot of these dudes wear their emotions like on their sleeves. And again, you got to navigate emotions sometimes. And both of them have done a really good job like at that. And especially times where things aren't going great, they handle themselves really well in the media. They really do. Again, could be a totally different story behind the scenes, but what we're presented, us, the public eye, it's really good. It's really positive stuff right now. And you could see that both those guys are the future with their respective franchises.
If you've got Liam Cohen and Mike Vrabel in the same category, if you're a Jags fan, just like that 4-3 record, you're trending in the right direction. Maybe not trending in the right direction. And maybe this is where Emerson's hot takes, since he promised me he had some takes, maybe this is where they come in. Brian Thomas Jr., and especially knowing that you bet Travis Hunter anytime touchdown on DraftKings, like for the first 4 weeks of the season, where do you land with your evaluation of where the offense is, where Brian Thomas Jr. is, chicken or the egg?
Can we tell Brian Thomas Jr. that the man throwing him the football in the number 16 jersey is actually Mac Jones? Do you think
you do fall into you're in that camp?
Do you think I'm really not? All right, so this is kind of like weak by me. I'm really not in like a specific camp here, but I could probably convince myself to be in one. I don't know if it's the offense. I don't know if it's the fact that when he goes across the field and he runs across the middle of the field, that he's got this 23% drop rate between like the hashes. Like it's not good. I was at the Texans game with my dad. He made some awesome sideline grabs, taking some hits, but then there was just like, he had a really bad drop. I think it was like on third down, like in that game. He's had a few bad drops. I'm preaching to the choir here again. I think it may be too early to pull the plug. I do think it's too early.
Do you think he needs to maybe see Dr. Sheehan, perhaps? Like, is that because there's a camp that believes that this is a yips, this is just simply a mental block, and Cohen's included there. He thinks they have to keep throwing him the ball, and he's going to work his way out of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, listen, I think it's very similar to the movie The Little Giants. You know, the kid who couldn't catch the football unless he imagined the football was a roll of toilet paper being thrown by Junior. And there was also the stickum thing. And the kid just can't get the
So Mac Jones is Junior.
Yeah, dude. Mac Jones is Junior. I am worried. I'm concerned. You could try to sit there and feed him the football. Hopefully they took some steps hopefully the break was a good mental reset for him. Maybe they decided to take a different approach behind the scenes to work on his mental strength, because it's mental strength. That's all it is with this guy. We saw how amazing he was his rookie season, for crying out loud. Again, a lot of that was with Mac Jones. I think there's some people saying, oh, Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if he like throws a really like a real catchable like football. Okay. I mean, do we want to sit in here and we can get into the real like nitty gritty? In the end, the balls that I've seen hit Brian Thomas Jr.'s hands, those are catchable footballs. And there was not one drop, I think it was more painful than that one. Was it on 4th down against the Bengals?
Yes. It was
right.
4th down.
Oh, like that puts the game away. He catches that football. It was pretty close to Trevor. Like it wasn't a deep.
It was an 8-yard throw.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was right there. Like my seat in the press box was like right there.
All they did was catch that football, Mia, and fall backwards, like into the end zone. Also, that PI call on Travis Hunter in that game was BS too, but we don't have to go down that path.
No, we're moving on. It's okay. We were betting Travis Hunter anytime touchdown here on out because that's my last question before we get to some bets, some predictions.
Okay.
Do you believe the offense in the second half of the season should run through Travis Hunter as opposed to Brian Thomas?
Absolutely. It's like at halftime in London, they were like, wait a minute, this second round pick he's a wide receiver and we could throw the football to him more than 3 times a game because dude, Mia, even those like 2 catches, he would, basically was averaging a game leading up to that. You could see when the ball was in his hands, he was different than anything else that we have on our football team. Okay. Why not make him 1A and then make BTJ that second read? Like but Travis Hunter, I think, needs to be priority. And maybe also not being like the alpha male like anymore could do some good for BTJ. I mean, we like they could have it could be very similar to what the Bengals have with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Like it really could be that dynamic of a duo. Now,
but what are you doing at corner then? You're playing him 100 because I'm with you. I believe Travis Hunter is at his best when he is playing both positions the majority of the time.
So here's what I honestly think the Jaguars need to do. And it's going to maybe sound crazy to a lot of people. And I've run it through my golf circles and I'm out golfing on the weekends with guys and everyone's like, I don't believe in Travis Hunter. I said, you shut your freaking mouth when you're talking to me, buddy. I think he needs to go full-time both ways for now. Maybe coming out of the break, play him as much as possible on both sides. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. He's halfway through his first NFL season. Let the man cook. He played like 150, 160 snaps a game, like in Colorado. I get it. The Big 12, that competition in Colorado, not the same as the NFL. Let's just see how it goes. Let's see how it feels. And there's not a better team to do that against for the first time coming out of the bye than the Raiders. All right. Which by the way, I would love to. I think Jacoby Myers would be awesome in Jacksonville.
Okay, so that's the move. If you're going to make a move at the deadline, if you're going to give us a spicy take besides your Jeff House scoop, that's it. You think go get Jacoby Myers?
I came up with 3 guys here earlier.
Okay.
Hold on. So I like Jacoby Myers. Now listen, I'm not Gladstone. It's not my job to figure out how to get these guys and what you're giving up in return. But I think all 3 of these guys could be great additions to the Jags. Not quite sure if BTJ would be involved in this one. I like Jacoby Myers. Guy had a 0% drop rate like last year. His numbers have gone downhill a little bit this year. Everyone's numbers would if you were on that freaking football team and it was Geno Smith throwing you the football. It's as simple as that. But the guy, it's like the 0% drop rate, but it's in the middle of the field. Okay? Middle of the field.
He thrives out the slot and in
my give me that because we haven't really had that with BTJ. All right. Next one. Quinnen Williams with the Jets. Guy hasn't been in the playoffs like once in his 7-year career. That guy could be used badly on the Jaguars interior defensive line. Okay. And I think the Jets want like a second.
You would give up BTJ for Quinnen Williams.
Oh, I don't know who I'm giving up. Okay. These are just people that I'm thinking the Jags have flexibility here with like 3 third-round picks. All right. So they could come up with some packages. Again, that's not my thing. Three people. So it's Jacoby, it's Williams, and then I would also love Kayvon Thibodeau.
Oh,
yeah. Because just so the Giants and the Jets too, like they're in these rebuildings. It's going to be a fire sale in New York at least for the Jets. So I'm like, all right, let's go get Williams. Let's give him like, a third and like a fifth or something like that. And then Kayvon Thibodeau, like whose numbers have gone downhill. I think a change of scenery could benefit him. And they're focused on the rebuild. I mean, especially after Scatman like went down. It's like, all right, yeah, you guys are officially done. You're officially done. New York, straight ass when it comes to NFL football in that stadium. So go out and get like one of those guys. I think how disappointing has the defensive line been though, Mia?
I know. Like, and I said the stat off the top. 33% of the pressures have come from one guy, Josh Hines-Allen. And there's people even in my own household who are questioning whether or not his impact is actually being felt on that football field. 32.6% of all pressures are from 41. And now, granted, you could say some of that is Trayvon, and I see a couple of you guys in the chat who may have missed the start of the show. Trayvon Walker will not have the club hand on Sunday. He told me that yesterday. He showed me his scar. He has a soft cast on, but he will be able to grip his fingers for the first time in 3 weeks. And that's obviously a massive development on the football field, because even if he's not the one affecting the quarterback, he's affecting the play and how you defend the Jaguars defense. And so that may free someone else up. Let's talk a little bit of gambling, a little bit of numbers. It sounds like, Emerson, you are all in on the Jaguars -3. That is currently what the line is at DraftKings, where you work and you reside. You're all in on -3 Jags.
Yeah. I'm all in on that. I do think the Jags come out of this break hot. Now, the Raiders are also coming off a bye, I believe. So it's like they're well rested. So this could be the rest versus rest narrative. And see who's more well rested, especially mentally with BTJ. I'm all in on the Jags. The Raiders just look like absolute ass. They don't know how to run their offense without their top tight end. They don't know how to use JT, for crying out loud. And Geno Smith, I think the Jags get back on board too with the turnover machine. I think returns this week in Las Vegas. I'm very excited to see that.
Especially against Geno, who's just like giving out picks like he's Oprah giving out cars these days.
Dude, seriously. You get a pick. You get a pick. You get a pick. Sweet. Throw a pick to Travis Hunter. That would be sick.
That would be nice. Is that an anytime bet you may be placing at DraftKings? Maybe what are some other predictions you may be scoring on?
All right. So do you have the odds pulled up? I don't have the odds pulled up because
we're in Florida. Yeah, because we're in Florida.
God, that's right.
Worldwide.
There's nothing worse when I go down and visit my parents who live in Nocatee, and I'm like, sweet. Now I can't use DraftKings products since I'm a DraftKings employee, but certain states still allow you to bet legally here. So it's like, I'll put my money in other sports books, but it really sucks going down to Florida and having to use Hard Rock Bet. Like it's absolutely terrible. It's one of the worst parts of my life.
They don't sponsor us. We're in the clear.
Yeah. What's the total? Do you have it on Hard Rock Bet?
45.5. Total is 45.5.
God, man, these offenses can be bad at times. You know what? F it, man. More points, more fun. Go over.
Ooh,
go over on that. Yeah, Jags money line. And I'll take a Travis Hunter anytime touchdown. Seriously, this week. Hopefully ETN gets cooking again. Is there do people in the Jaguars community hate or are concerned about Shane Waldron's involvement as much as I am?
No.
Okay. Is that overblown?
Ask Jeff Howe, who brought Liam Cohen into the league.
Okay. So
Shane Waldron's the reason, like he's the one who went to McVay and was like, you should go hire this guy. Like if not for Shane Waldron, Liam Cohen doesn't exist. Yeah. So that's my defense there. Like he's the big brother and Trevor thinks about him.
The big brother, sometimes you got to cut off family members.
Well, listen, Doug Peterson wouldn't cut off his adopted son, and look where that got him.
That happened to him in Philly too, which is why I think
same younger son too. Was not any of his biological children.
I've always said Press Taylor has pictures of Doug Peterson doing weird stuff with farm animals. That is why he never fired him.
Yeah, exactly. You're not the first, won't be the last to say that to me. Okay, one other line from DraftKings, which of course we'll ask Emerson before he gets out of here where we can find some of his latest things, because I know he's doing a lot of golf coverage right now.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
South, but you also still do some football stuff. Anyways.
Yeah, I get to do NASCAR stuff this weekend in Phoenix. Ooh. It's heart of NFL season. Let's send Emerson out to Phoenix to do some NASCAR stuff.
I mean, there are worse places to be November 1st.
Hell yeah.
It's actually up the road. So come on now. AFC South. AFC South, the Jaguars, second best odds at plus 500 according to DraftKings. The Colts are minus 400 to win the division. And then the Texans are, I believe it's plus like 1,000 or plus 1,300, something like that to win the AFC South. What say you in terms of where that playoff?
The AFC South, I think is decided already. I really do. I think it's the Colts. So Colt, what are the Colts odds right now?
Minus 400.
What are the Jags?
Plus 500.
I mean, if you want to put some like pizza money on the Jags and thinking maybe they come out of the break hot and kind of fix a lot of their self-implosion issues, like with penalties and that kind of stuff, I'm going to sprinkle some on them. Like I'm dead serious. Like, because that's the problem. Like with me sometimes, like with the Jags, it's like, do I want to bet my head or my heart? Always do it with your head, people. I'll do it with my heart and I'll take the losses for you. But I do think it's done. I mean, like, listen, unless something catastrophic happens to the Colts, they're legit. Like they are really legit. And
as long as they stay healthy, because Jonathan Taylor hasn't played a full season since 2021. Like that's my thing with the Colts. That's where things could go.
Yeah. 1,000%. Like, because the reason that Daniel Jones is able to be so good right now is because he's got a run game, like a dynamic, dangerous run game.
Just like he did in 22 with the Giants. Who says no?
Yep.
The Jaguars, Emerson, had the third hardest schedule through the first half of the season, or the first 7 games, I should say. The 26th hardest schedule the rest of the way. So if they clean up those penalties, it will be curious to see.
They could do it.
What happened? I mean, playoffs are not out of the question. Like, and that's, if we could tell you in August that we were saying that, I don't want to say that you should rest on your laurels, but it's not all doom and gloom.
Put $10 in there, you win $50, like whatever, you know, then take your wife to Bono's or something like that, or just go grab a chicken tender sub at Publix.
Look at the all the plugs. He misses you, Jacksonville.
Yeah. Hashtag not an ad, but hashtag could be.
Hey, listen, maybe Brent Martineau will consider it. He's listening somewhere right now. So before he hosts Talent Talks coming up at 2:00 here in about 9 minutes on the Action Sports Jags 24/7 channel. Emerson, Phoenix this weekend. Where else can we catch you on the DraftKings various platforms?
Yeah, there's DraftKings Network, which is streamed on like 6 or 7 different free platforms. I don't know all of them off the top of my head because we keep adding them, and it's really tough for me to remember because I am educated in Florida. Go UCF Knights. But yeah, find me on Twitter at Emerson Lotzia. I'm the Emerson on Instagram. And those are basically, that's basically it. And I'll push out a lot of my content there. You can follow my YouTube page too. I got a lot of weird stuff on there, like weird, fun stuff, you know, EMLJR84. Yeah. Wook Life. Yeah, we're jagging off, buddy. You know it. I love you, Wook Life. I do. I love our fan base, by the way. Like it is
we have to have you on.
It is the freaking best. And anyone who tries poking the bear, especially when we're down, dude, it is like pack mentality. It's like, let's destroy this human's life. I'm like, sign me up. No one talks shit about my team except us and our Duval family. Duval!
This is why we had to get him in the club. We had to get him on Club 904. We will do it again, Emerson. I think I may also hit you up for Jeff Howe's contact because that's a nice little scoop that you dropped that's coming out on The Athletic, a little behind the scenes with Liam Cohen. So you're in the scoops game too. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah, like I can scoop memes. That's what I do. Otherwise,
local news hound. Scooping memes. Like, I mean,
very inappropriate memes. So don't let your children see this stuff.
Let's let you get out of here. Emerson, we appreciate the time. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. A true hangout in Club 904.
Yeah. Love you. Mean it, Mia. We'll see you.
Love it. Love it. Legend. Emerson Lotzia. Again, follow him on social. Most of you guys in the Jaguars world, Jaguars universe already are. Again, he is with DraftKings. He will be out covering the NASCAR Championship Series in Phoenix this weekend. He also has done a ton of stuff lately with the PGA Championship, with all of the PGA Tour stuff. So, and then he does a little NFL, but he's a lifelong Jags fan. Had to have him on the pod. Thought you guys could use a laugh coming out of the bye week as well. So let's hit a couple of your questions before we get on out of here. I saw a couple of you noting about how this defense, and this is from, I want to make sure I attribute this one correctly. This was from, maybe it got deleted. No, I saw someone say on the YouTube chat that, we'll start with Dan. So Dan says, Mia, do you think that we should blitz more against the Raiders? And the answer is, I believe they will, because to Emerson's point, they do not have the horses for course yet. Now, this is a Raiders offensive line that is bottom 10 by most metrics in the National Football League, coupled with Geno Smith's interception rate this year. And so I think because of that, yes, you will see a higher blitz rate. Liam Cohen said that in the second half of both the Seahawks and the Rams game, they had to start blitzing more just because they were trying to affect both quarterbacks. And so I do think you will see a higher rate of that. I saw a couple of you guys, I was trying to find the message and who it was from, but this idea of without Devin Lloyd and without Trayvon Walker, the Jaguars are going to struggle defensively. But with those two, it changes things. I also saw a couple of you guys saying you wouldn't rush Devin Lloyd back. Again, I think it comes down to, independent of how good you believe the Raiders are, I think that Devin Lloyd's long-term health is huge, especially considering it is a contract year and considering how well he was playing in the start of the season, winning AFC Defensive Player of the Year honors. I am Preacher Man looking to add a safety and a tight end. You guys are, please don't tell me you guys are talking draft already. Top of Florida, man. Left tackle, safety, and right guard should be the main priority for the offseason. Why are we talking offseason, man? The Jags are plus 500 to win the division. Come on now. Duval T87, the Raiders are terrible. He agrees with Emerson. Tapa adds, the Colts remind me of the 2017 Minnesota Vikings. They put those up on bad teams. Go look at the score against the Rams and the Broncos. I would agree. Although I would also say that I think Shane Steichen has finally found the yin to his yang. And by that, I mean a quarterback who will execute the offense that he asks him to execute in Daniel Jones. And to Emerson's point, if not for Jonathan Taylor, I don't think you're seeing this Colts team operating at the clip that they are. They have a strong run game. That's part of why they are where they are. Last dance, final thoughts from me. We already kind of hit on it, but I think it's critical, especially, again, in case you missed me saying it. The Jaguars had the third hardest schedule in the National Football League through the first 7 weeks of the season. They now have the 26th most difficult schedule the rest of the way. I don't care about that, though, if the Jaguars continue to operate on offense in first and long, second and long. Ultimately, if you can clean that up, if you can maybe not take a sack on the first play of both the Rams and the Seahawks games, maybe that changes the outcome as well. Just as simple as that. The Jaguars, weeks 1 through 4, EPA per play. This is defensively, but I think it speaks to the offense as well in terms of the short, long distances they found themselves in. They were number 4 in EPA per play success rate on first and second down. A lot of that on defense had to do with the turnovers, the fact that they were just getting after people right from the jump. They have been 31st or 32nd in EPA per play and success rate defensively on first and second down the last 2 weeks. Those slow starts can't happen. And great that they're the Rams and the Seahawks were 3 of 22 on third down, but it's because of that explosive play rate on first and second down. And on the other side of the ball, same exact thing. The Jaguars find themselves in first and long, second and long, opposition tees off. We talked about those stunt numbers off the top of the show today. And they can have their way, any defense. And that includes a bunch of Raiders guys whose names I rattled off that I did not know before 1 p.m. Eastern today, outside of Malcolm Kuntz and Max Crosby. We appreciate Emerson Lotzia of DraftKings hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on Club 904, syndicated on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 channel. We will be back on Thursday. My co-host, my tag team partner on ESPN Radio, Q Myers, the program director for Raider Nation Radio, is going to hop in with us, and we are going to have some fun. If you missed any of today's episode, be sure to go back, listen on demand, YouTube, X, and of course, wherever you get your podcasts. Until then, we'll catch you later. Talent Talks comes up next on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 channel.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why gutter helmet?
Well, gutter helmets